Hey everybody, if you're not following The Naked Pastor, David Hayward, you should be. I just saw him share a cartoon on Twitter that I want to share and talk about how it reflects certain ancient sexual ethics. So here's the cartoon, which he titles, "Is Women on Top Biblical?" Probably not. In ancient Southwest Asia and throughout the periods of the composition of the Bible, for men to be on the bottom during sex, even with their own wives, was considered to be emasculating because it put the woman in a position of domination and the man in a submissive position, and so that was considered emasculating and inappropriate. And I'm going to share some texts from the ancient world that reflect this idea. But anciently, sex was even more than today considered really a question of power relationships and to reflect social hierarchies of domination as well as penetration. So let's take a look at some of those texts. So I've highlighted one of the sex omens of Mesopotamia from this wonderful paper from many years ago. And you see there, number one, if a woman mounts him, that woman will take his vigor. For 1 month, he will not have a personal god. And that is a metaphorical way to refer to his masculine vitality. So here's a Talmudic text from the early centuries of the rabbinic period, Gittin 70a, and here it says, if she, the woman, is above and he, the husband, is below during sexual intercourse, then he will be afflicted with delaria. And scholars believe most likely delaria is a reference to diarrhea. And then we have the story of Lilith in the Garden of Eden from the Alphabet of Ben Sira, a text probably written between around 700 and 1000 CE. And it says, they promptly began to argue with each other. She said, I will not lie below. And he said, I will not lie below, but above, since you are fit for being below and I for being above. She said to him, the two of us are equal, since we are both from the earth. And they would not listen to each other. Since Lilith saw how it was, she uttered God's ineffable name and flew away into the air. Adam stood in prayer before his Maker and said, Master of the universe, the woman you gave me fled from me. Sex in the ancient world was viewed very differently from how it's viewed today. It was not a mutual act that two equal partners engaged in. It was something that an autonomous agent, the man, did to a passive non-agent, the woman. And we see reflections of this still in the New Testament. For instance, with Paul's sexual ethic, Paul talks about men possessing their vessels with honor and holiness. And the word their vessels is most likely a reference to their wives. Additionally, we have in Romans 1 references to women trading their usefulness for things which are unnatural, and then men trading the usefulness of their women. And so women are useful in a sexual relationship basically as the receptacle, as the passive partner. Men were the active agents in a sexual encounter. Women were not on an equal level, and that's why we see Lilith challenging that worldview many centuries later. But during the composition of the Bible, it was a reflection of social hierarchies of domination and penetration, and men were not supposed to take a submissive role.